Women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I have the pleasure of talking to Rachelle Goldhammer, Director of Distribution Marketing with Fortinet. Hi, Rachelle. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
So good, so good. It is so great to get to connect with you again. And I'm thrilled that we're celebrating you as our Woman of the Week. So, we are going to start off with some of those icebreaker questions. Where do you live and where did you grow up? If that's different.
Yeah, awesome. So I didn't go far. I was born and raised in St. Pete, Florida, and I just moved a couple little towns over to Pinellas Park, Florida.
Is the weather good?
Yeah, it's hot already. It's
Yeah,
like 90s. Heat indexes this week is going to be like over 100.
it's pretty humid
Summer's
here too. When I let the puppy out, my hair was like shoo all over the place. All
yeah.
right. So, if you don't mind sharing, what is a little known fact about you?
Okay. So this one, normally I kind of lead with marrying my high school sweetheart, but I figured
Oh,
this one I'm going to go a little bit more bold and just kind of highlight that I'm actually blind in my left eye. But growing
wow.
up, I had 20/20 in my right, so I didn't have like a lot of impact. Like when I'm looking at something, I see it clearly. But if I had to cover up my right eye, then I absolutely can't see anything out of my left. Didn't have a huge impact overall, other than growing up, like the sports I could play. My parents were very particular, like not allowing a softball or something like that, that you could be targeted like in the like contact with the ball in your eye
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more easily. So kind of geared towards like gymnastics, cheerleading, things like that. So easier, more softer sports than with the ball.
That is an interesting fact. I'm always fascinated. I'm kind of fascinated with that. And I think it's been like the journey of trying to get contacts that work progressive and that they would say maybe one reading and one farsighted because your brain will kind of compensate over time. So that's really interesting to hear that you didn't really have a ton of impact, but I don't blame your parents for wanting to keep those contact sports away and protect your vision.
Yes, yeah. And actually, kind of ironically, glasses or contacts wouldn't help when I was younger. Not until I got older, then they could play
Hmm.
a role in it. So I actually didn't wear glasses until I was over 40. I
Wow.
could just let it
Okay.
work its way through naturally and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm in
Yeah.
them forever because over
Well,
40, now I'm
welcome.
back
Yes,
on.
yes, we're all in them forever after that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. What business accomplishment are you most proud of?
So this one was an easy one to kind of think of for this time, is because I'm a first time recipient of the CRN Women of the Channel this year. So that was on my bucket list for many years. I've had, team player, employee of the quarter, things like that, unsung heroes, a lot of things like that throughout my career.
Yeah.
Earlier, I guess it would have been last year or this year, got CMA's Excellence Award. But by all means, the Covenant one is the CRN Women of the Channel, and this was my year. So that's been a huge accomplishment. I've had a lot of friends on there, a lot of family on there. Always tried to achieve for that. So that's a big one for me this year.
Congratulations. You should be very proud of that. That's amazing. I'm so happy
Thank
for
you.
you. That's such a good
Thank
one to
you.
share, especially on this interview. I love it. All
I know.
right.
I was like, well, this is a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
Yeah, no, I love that you shared that. All right, well, we're going to move on to something actually you and I were kind of just talking about, and that is the work life balance and, how can we kind of protect what works for us? Because we know there's no balance per se, but what are some ways that you protect yours?
So this is always an interesting topic, like we were kind of talking about before. It's like I feel like the community is kind of split. Half of them believe there is work-life balance, half of them doesn't. And to be honest, this has been a hard one for me in the past because I don't like stuff sitting in my inbox. I don't like things outstanding. I try and get them through as quick as possible. But with that, sometimes you lose that balance, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just taking a step back, talking to others. There's a lot of advocates for work life balance. And it's like, it's okay if you do take the full SLA, right? Because that's what they're there for. So you got to kind of just be mindful of that, I think, and just take a conscious effort of it. And I've been doing that this year with the help of a lot of internal stakeholders at Fortinet that really try and achieve work-life balance and, things like that. So I think small strides make a big difference for me, at least me this year, is scheduling some catch-up time on your calendar. So like this week I start looking at next week, and if there's a day that I have like 5 hours worth of calls or 4 hours worth of calls, I'll start kind of plugging like little 10-15 minute intervals in there to allow you to get to that email or allow you to get to that task there to complete it, because we all know like our calendars can kind of fill up quick. So I kind of schedule out like that, and just,
That's a good
like I
idea.
said, small strides make a big difference, and that's
Yeah,
helped me
those
this year.
such great tips. I love the scheduling some time for email. And I love that, like, what you're saying resonates with me because I also have that problem of walking away and saying, like, oh, I didn't clear out my inbox or get XYZ done that I thought I was going to get done today. So just giving ourselves some grace, that, not everything has to be done. And we're probably putting that pressure on ourselves too. And I love that you have a team that supports this because that just really helps.
We do. We do. And I remember sitting across from one of our leaders at an event after like a QBR or something like
Hmm.
that. And, he strictly said, he's like, you working long hours doesn't help me at the end of the day. Like, we want
Yeah.
refreshed employees, we want, people ready to go the next day. And it's okay that, something doesn't get done today if it needs to wait till tomorrow. And I was like, that's really cool because, some leaders, just want everything done at one time. And I'm
Hmm.
very fortunate that Fortinet has that approach of work life balance.
Yeah, I love that. Let's pivot to how you continue to grow and develop as a leader.
So this one, I kind of take a different stance of this one. I've had a lot of leaders report into leaders that have different tactics and things. And I think I've taken a little bit of each of them and kind of molded it into the way that I wanted to be a leader. And with that is giving your employees the space to kind of create it in their style, their realm, and then be open door policy and things like that. I feel like, that's helped me. I feel like just approaching like different conferences or best practice sessions, things like that, I can pull from how other people are leading and be like, oh, that's a really good thing to initiate and then implement. So I think, just continuously growing in those areas and kind of pulling, again, little bits and pieces from different areas helps you kind of continue to grow.
Yeah, I love that. That is such good advice. We have like 1 minute left, and I don't want to miss out on your last question. So I'm going to ask you, who are some individuals who inspire you in your journey?
Okay, so 1 minute. Okay, let me go through this. So I've been in the channel for 26 plus years. So pretty good amount of people among my journey, right, that has helped me. First, I'm a true believer foundation is key. So my family, right? So
Yeah.
parents help install that work ethic at a very young age. I have a sibling in the channel. She's been a huge contributor to mentoring me over the years. Kind of goes down to even my daughter, right? Who may not have helped from a growth perspective on a career level, but on a personal level. So there was a
Yeah.
time in my career that I paused from wanting to grow a lot because I wanted to have that work life balance at a younger age to be able to sign off at 5 and go to her sports, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that has
Yep.
helped, she kind of helped me in that avenue of growing. And proudly, she's now in the channel. So, it's kind of funny.
Love
All the
this.
years of take your child to work day and her being like, I'm not working in this environment. I don't want this. And now she's loving it. So that's kind of a cool thing. Three leaders really stand out to me over the years: Kate Snyder, Lindsay Westbrook, and Jen McDonald, right? They've all been pivotal in my career, whether it's mentoring, projects, right? I'm a firm believer of always accept a project. You learn so much throughout that process. You learn new tasks, new things, new new exposure, right, to different
Mm.
people. So I'm always a fan of that. And then friends. I've got a lot of friends in the channel over the years, and they've been a huge help as well. So those are a few that come to mind. Could name
Yeah.
a bunch, but obviously
Yeah.
not.
No, I'm so glad I didn't skip that because you kind of just covered the gambit of why it's so important to have, that diverse kind of, our own personal advisory board, so to speak. Rachelle,
Exactly.
it was an absolute pleasure getting to do this with you. We are so thrilled and honored to be celebrating you as our Woman of the Week.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You got it. All right, community members, please comment. Give Rachelle your high fives. Give her your insights. I'm sure that she would love that. And this is how we continue to grow together. So until next time, happy Wednesday.